I never thought I'd be the type of person who would plot revenge on his own family. But here we are. Cut to 9 years ago. I was 16, gangly, broke, and too weird for small-town Arkansas. Mom's boyfriend at the time, number 3 in her running collection, decided he didn't feel comfortable with a teenage boy under the same roof because I gave him attitude. Mom nodded along, packed a trash bag of my clothes, and told me to figure myself out somewhere else. I slept one night on a friend's floor, one on a school bus bench, and one in the back room of the diner where I'd washed dishes since freshman year. On day 4, the diner owner, Mrs. McHenry, found me drooling on a sack of potatoes and offered me the tiny apartment above the kitchen if I kept working doubles. That arrangement kept me alive through high school. Fast forward to senior year. A guidance counselor slipped a brochure for a community college welding program into my locker. I applied, landed every local scholarship I could, and begged the diner regulars for odd jobs until I scraped together enough for tuition. 2 years later, I was certified, union-carded, and earning more per hour than Mom's current boyfriend had ever claimed on a resume. Meanwhile, Mom replaced boyfriend 3 with boyfriend 4, a man named Chuck who wore mirrored shades indoors. My sister Bree, 14 then, floated through the chaos like it was normal. I kept my distance, sent her birthday money, and pretended we were still siblings instead of refugees from the same wreck. By 21, I was on the Gulf Coast building oil platforms 6 weeks on, 2 weeks off. Overtime checks turned into a down payment on a foreclosure, a 1-story brick house 30 miles outside Houston. It wasn't glamorous, but the mortgage was less than rent on a decent apartment, and the yard had a pecan tree thick enough for a hammock. For the first time, I exhaled. Then last year, life dropped a bowling ball through the ceiling. Bree called crying. She was 20, halfway through a nursing program on scholarship, and pregnant. Dad? A classmate who disappeared faster than a Snapchat. Mom's verdict: a baby is a blessing. You're moving back home. Home for Bree meant Mom's 2-bedroom rental. Population already 3 adults, 4 dogs, and 1 exotic ferret that bit ankles. Bree objected. Mom triumphed. I watched from Texas, powerless and furious. 3 months later, Bree's grades nosedived, her scholarship evaporated, and nursing school was toast. Chuck quit his delivery job to help, which translated to gaming on the couch while Bree puked and Mom smoked menthols on the porch. I started plugging numbers. My union dues plus overtime plus a bit of emergency fund could float Bree an apartment near campus. Maybe daycare too, if she reapplied. I called to offer. Bree whispered, "Please don't. Mom would kill me if I took your money instead of hers." "Bree," I said, "listen carefully. You owe Mom nothing." The phone went dead. 3 weeks later, I got a Facebook message from Mom. "Need to talk urgent, call me." Urgent could mean Bree bled out, baby gone, something unthinkable. I called. Mom answered, sounding like she'd swallowed broken glass. "Your sister can't raise a baby in these conditions. You have a house. Family looks after family. So I need you to sign over your deed. We'll move in, you keep working offshore. Everybody wins." I asked if this was a joke. She said, "Don't be selfish." I laughed so hard I wheezed. She hung up. That night I activated the outdoor cameras I'd meant to install for months. Old oil rig habit. Hope for sunshine, prep for hurricane. 2 weeks later, my Ring app pinged while I was working a night shift. Motion detected front door. I switched to live feed. Chuck's greasy ponytail filled the screen. He jiggled the knob, stepped back, and kicked. The deadbolt held. He tried a pry bar. No luck. He spat, flipped both middle fingers at the lens, and left. I downloaded the footage before the rig Wi-Fi choked, called the county sheriff, filed a trespass report, and emailed the clip. "We'll tag it," a deputy said. "But until he gets inside, there's no burglary." Fine. I'm not the only strategist in this chess game. I flew home for my off cycle. First stop, hardware store for 3-inch screws, strike plates, and a steel door brace. Second stop, county clerk's office to pull mom's eviction history. 2 and 5 years. Lovely pattern. Third stop, my lawyer buddy Mason for coffee and revenge brainstorming. Mason's brand of petty is artisanal. "Record every call," he said. "Let them dig their own grave." Back at the house, I swapped locks, reinforced frames, and installed a camera inside facing the front hall. If Chuck actually broke in next time, I'd have burglary on tape. Sure enough, 4 nights later, Bree texted me a heads up. "Mom thinks you're offshore again." Midnight. I muted the TV and sat in a dark living room with my phone recording. Minutes crawled. Then, bang. Door shuddered. A second hit cracked the jamb. Chuck barreled through wearing gloves and a ski mask that did nothing for his beer gut identity. He stopped cold when the lights snapped on. I was pointing a baseball bat. "Police are 5 minutes out," I said. "Want to wait or run?" He chose run, limping because my bat clipped his knee. Cameras caught everything. 10 minutes later, deputies cuffed him half a block away. Burglary, criminal mischief, violation of a protective order I'd filed that afternoon after discovering Chuck's Facebook rant about teaching that punk homeowner a lesson. Protective order. Mason's idea. We'd submitted emergency paperwork citing Chuck's threat messages. The judge granted it hours earlier. Now Chuck's face drained as the deputy read it aloud. Court date set. Chuck couldn't afford bail, rotted in county jail, and texted Mom from the inmate tablet begging for commissary cash. Mom turned fury on me. "How could you do this to family?" I replied with 2 sentences. Chuck violated a court order. Actions, consequences. Revenge. Stage 1. Executed. Stage 2 required patience. Mom's landlord tolerated her menagerie only because she paid the pet deposit. Money she no longer had, minus Chuck's income. I mailed the landlord certified copies of the eviction history plus the police report. I highlighted the part where deputies noted plans to relocate to tenant's son's property in Texas. Landlord smelled risk, served Mom a 30-day notice. She called me screaming that I'd made them homeless. I'd done worse. I'd made them legally radioactive. Meanwhile, Bree was 7 months pregnant, broke, and terrified. I sent her prepaid Visa cards through a coworker's address so Mom couldn't trace them. Bree hid them like contraband, used them to re-enroll in online classes. Chuck's sentencing hearing became small-town theater. I attended in a pressed polo. Mom arrived in a shirt proclaiming, "Real men don't snitch." The prosecutor screened the porch camera footage, freeze-framing Chuck's double middle fingers toward the lens. The judge asked if that gesture was aimed at me or at the concept of private property. Chuck mumbled. Judge slammed gavel. 18 months, restitution, mandatory anger management. Mom sobbed. Bree quietly thanked the judge for protecting her future. After that, Mom couch surfed. She alternated between begging me for just a place to rest and posting online about my heartless betrayal. I ignored her until she crossed a line, spreading a rumor that I assaulted her with the bat. I forwarded the post to Mason. He drafted a cease and desist for defamation and filed a small claim for statutory damages if she didn't retract. Mom panicked and deleted the post, but screenshots live forever. Her Facebook friends dwindled. Even her bingo group booted her. Revenge isn't just about punishment. It's also about future-proofing. Mason drafted a trust for Bree's baby, accessible only for education or medical expenses until adulthood. Funding source? Part of the profit from the house sale once I closed. That way Mom couldn't guilt Bree into borrowing diaper money. Remember the house? Its value jumped thanks to a new highway exit. I listed it at market peak, found a buyer within days, and scheduled closing for the same week Chuck's sentence began. Before signing, I called Mom. "Out of respect," I said, "I'm selling the house. Thought you'd like to know before someone else moves in." She launched into profanity. I let her tire out, then revealed step 2. "I've signed a lease on a duplex across town. Bree and the baby have the other half rent-free." Silence. Then she screeched, "What about me?" I said, "Actions, consequences," and hung up. The sale cleared. After paying off the mortgage, I pocketed a healthy sum. I moved into my side of the duplex, stocked Bree's kitchen with groceries, and installed a doorbell camera for her because patterns repeat. Day Bree went into labor. I drove her to the hospital at sunrise. She squeezed my hand through contractions, and I told stories about welding sparks looking like fireflies until the epidural kicked in. The delivery took 10 hours. The moment her daughter cried, something unclenched in my chest that had been knotted since age 16. Family could be forged, not inherited. Mom tried to crash the delivery. Hospital staff had been prepped. Mason faxed the protective order in advance. When Mom threatened to sue, the charge nurse calmly pointed to the no filming sign and called the sheriff again. I heard the handcuffs from the labor room and hummed the intro riff of my Petty Fuel playlist. Chuck's prison letters tapered off after segregation. He's due out next spring on supervised release, required to stay 500 feet away from me, Bree, or the duplex. I installed an additional floodlight camera anyway. Revenge is done, but vigilance is forever. I'd be lying if I said Mom never crosses my mind. Sometimes, during 4 a.m. feedings, Bree and I sit in the soft glow of the nursery lamp and wonder whether Mom will ever admit fault. We doubt it. Narcissism is a snake eating its own tail. We toast bottles of formula to the realization that we broke the cycle. To the Reddit crowd who always asks for the moral, boundaries aren't walls that keep love out. They're filters that keep rot from seeping in. Build them high, reinforce them with legal rebar, and install motion sensors. If the people outside want back in, they can knock and prove they deserve a key. If not, well, doors swing both ways. Some nights I stand on the duplex porch, listening to the quiet hum of suburbia. No sirens, no shouting, no slammed doors. Just the occasional hiss of the sprinkler timer. I think back to that 16-year-old kid with the trash bag of clothes and a fever, wondering if he'd recognize the man I became. I think he would, and he'd nod exactly once before asking where the toolbox is. Work never ends. It just changes address. When strangers online accuse me of overkill, I picture Bree's daughter asleep in the toddler swing we bought secondhand and fixed together. I picture Mom's boyfriend testing my deadbolt with a crowbar. Then I picture the protective order taped to my fridge, a trophy worth more than any high school sports medal. Overkill? No. Appropriate deterrence. So to Mom, If you're doom scrolling this because someone from your bingo group sent you the link, here's my final offer. Get therapy, get a job, get honest. Do those 3 things for 1 full year. Documented, and I'll talk. Not reconcile, just talk. No more houses. No more handouts. Just a conversation. That's the best deal on the table, and the price is responsibility. Until then, Bree's studying, the baby's teething, and I'm bidding on another foreclosure that needs a welder's touch. Life is short, torches are hot, and family is optional. Remember that. Victory tastes like welding hot coffee.